Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be repairing this completely destroyed coilover. So long story short, I got the coilovers for the WRX here. I got them secondhand off Facebook Marketplace for 600 bucks, and they were all good, but when I got them I noticed one of them was seized, this one here, the rear left one. So I took it to a mechanic and I asked him if he could unseize it. Now he said he tried everything in his power, which was drilling holes in the base here to get WD-40 in, some kind of machine, I'm not sure what it was, to the thread here, and you can see it's completely destroyed the thread. So end of the day, this coilover is completely destroyed and I can't adjust it or anything. The only thing that could be adjusted was the preload on the spring. So I went up and ordered some new parts from BC Racing. So I got a new, because that's the brand of the coil, as you can see there, I got a new strut and the whole thing. Basically got the hub attachment, the 3 locking rings, and then I'm going to transfer the rest of this. So I'll set you guys up on my tripod that I've got. First thing I'm going to do is open the box from BC so we can see exactly what we have. Okay, so we've got brand new strut there. So I just went down to the post office and it turns out the rest of the parts must have come in a second bag, because here we have the remainder of the stuff. So we've now got, let's open this up, our brand new strut. So let's just get rid of these boxes. Old coilover, our brand new strut just there, brand new bottom end just to go right there. You can see replacing that, and there we go. We've got 2 lock collars. This one locks against there, this one here locks against there, just like that. So okay, so you can see here we've got everything that we need to replace this whole setup. So now the next step is going to be to move this stuff here. Now there's not any load on here, there's barely any spring tension. In fact, I know because I've already deassembled this to figure out how it works, so I can show you guys. So all I need to grab is a 14mm. So the next stage is, if we lay this out, we need to deassemble the top hat of the old one. So for my coilover it's pretty straightforward. The first thing I'm going to say though is, if you're doing this to your coilover at home, I'd highly recommend putting some spring compressors on here in case you have a high like preset rate inside the spring, because what's going to happen is, I'm sure you all know, if you undo the top hat it will spring off and you'll end up hurting yourself, damaging something, it'll end up really bad. For me, I don't need to worry about that because I've already deassembled this. I know how much preload's in here. In fact, if it was reassembled like my other coilovers, it would have 8 centimeters of preload from when the hats touch together, and then you wind it up 8 centimeters more, but we'll go into that later on. So I've got my 14mm here, and we'll just use this to undo the top here. Just one crack needed, and then this just unscrews here, and this is just like the stiffness setting, which you can see just there. Hopefully it focuses for you guys. Yeah, you can see there, yeah, it's got soft and hard. So then we put that over the side here. Now I've got 5mm Allen key to hold the strut still, and then I've got my 17mm bolt, just like this one here, not bolt, sorry, Allen key, ratchet, and then just like that, that's all it required. So I don't need to hold that still anymore because it's already cracked. I can now undo that and the spring almost moves around here. There's no like tension built up in there, so that's good just for me to deassemble. Set that to the side, pull this top hat off, put that there, we got the camber and everything, pull the actual spring off, pull this off, pull the stop off, and pull this little plastic protector off. Everything else here we can now set aside because it's fully useless to us. Now for the fun part, reassembling the new coilover. So this one's got the curved edge there, which sits perfectly against there, so that's how you know they go together. And then this is the block for that one there. So let's see if I can... I'll also show you guys a bit later on how we can make sure that this doesn't seize up to stop it from causing any more problems. Because what happened with the old one was the base actually seized, so you couldn't adjust the coilover anymore, which obviously is no fun. Okay, now we'll slide this there. By the way guys, I've got no idea what I'm doing. I just pull it apart, have a look at how it works, and then I just figured it out from there, if that makes sense. I'm in no way any professional. I just like to have a go by myself, and then I guess I could say if I can't fix it, I just ask someone who can. I want to get the numbers so they're facing out the right way, and slide that all the way down there. Now my next bit, that's the plastic ring, so that goes on the top. That slides on the top, on top of that, and then that bolt goes back on the top here. Now here's where it gets tricky because it twists. So what I do is I need to put this in here to hold this still, while you kind of need set this back the other way to pull them towards each other. So what I need to do, this is making sure it's nice and tight at the top here. We just screw this back on like this. That's what lets us adjust the soft versus hard, which we were talking about before. So now we're going to go over how to set the preload for the springs. It's really straightforward. You just get the two locking collars like this. So I'll back it off a bit so you can see, but this is the point where the spring has no movement. So just like this here, you can see the spring's got no movement back or forth, meaning it's basically set at 0 preload. Now my coilovers have 8mm preload, so what I do is set the locking collar here nice and firm, and then I just grab my tool, which for me is just here. These come with the coilovers, by the way, when you buy your sets of coilovers. And now I just do this up 8mm. So what happens is I'm compressing the spring 8mm, and I want an 8mm gap between these two collars here. So how I do this, hold it still with one hand. You can see I've got my coilover nice and set up in my vise here to hold it still, with obviously a rag over the thread in the important areas down there. And you can see that's basically 8mm there, which I'm happy with. So now just do up this one here, and then grab your two locking collar tools. So for me, grab this short one here and try and bring this down nice and tight like that, and then grab this one here around the bottom and then tighten it up there. So that's now starting to move up there. So that's all nice and done up. Now the number one problem I've seen in the past, just like my other coilover, they seize up. So this one here, you can't move them. No matter what you do, the bottom is seized. I don't know what causes this, mainly just dirt, brake dust, everything kind of getting in the thread and it's seizing up over time. It's just kind of luck. Sometimes you can unseize them, sometimes they're completely destroyed. Now, easy way to try and prevent that to the best of my ability is grab some of this here. Copper anti-seize grease, or any anti-seize grease, but this is just what I had available to me. So what I do is I get some of this, make sure I get a clean rag here and clean up the thread nicely. Grab some grease here on my finger and just wipe it down the thread. Now what this is going to do is actually make sure I've got nice amount of grease all over the thread where that base actually goes, to try and prevent it from seizing up. It's also going to get spread out evenly when I kind of wind that ring around it. And then the final part is I actually get the base, put a nice big dollop on my hand there, and just wipe it the whole way through. Now, in theory, this should help prevent it from seizing. I'll let you guys know hopefully down the line when I can adjust my coilovers when need be. But yeah, so we'll get all that nice and greased up in there. Now I'll just wipe this off. Chuck that grease there. Now, this is the bottom locking nut that goes against the, or the base, I guess you'd say. So now I just grab this, feed this on. Pretty straightforward process, really. So now that I've got this fully greased up, you can see hopefully in the light there how the grease is kind of spread evenly around by the locking collar that you slide on. Now the final stage is just to slide the actual base attachment together. Okay, so as you can see guys, I've got everything reassembled here. Now we basically have our full coilover ready to go. Well, not basically, we do have our fully rebuilt coilover ready to be installed back in the car. I won't show that process for you guys. The main reason of this video was just walking through the whole kind of point to point, fully rebuilding the coilover. But yeah, I really hope you enjoy this video guys. I'm not too sure how the audio is going to be, as I got a new Rode microphone on the top of the camera, so hopefully it's a little bit better than usual. But yeah, I'll soon see when I plug it into my laptop. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, leave them down below, or just feel free to message me on Instagram. My username is Unruly WRX with no spaces, obviously. Yeah, I try and reply to every message and comment. Have a nice day, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.